What's happening is that the doors to people's hearts are opening, that your heart center, your heart chakra, if you will, which spins in greenish yellow, that's the color of grass in the botanical world. That color of grass is that color because of 528. In fact, you would not have 5,280 feet in a measured mile if it wasn't for 528. You wouldn't have circles. You wouldn't have any sacred geometry. You wouldn't have pyramids. Pyramids are intimately constructed based on the mathematics of pi, phi. You wouldn't have pi or phi without 528. In other words, you wouldn't have anything without love.
Welcome back to reading the book of 528, chapter 11. Thank you so much for tuning in. Everybody who's here live, everybody on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. Everybody that's on TikTok, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to get 528 going for everybody. Oh, I realized that song was a little bit quiet. My apologies. Just making sure that all of my volumes are good. So hopefully this volume is good for everybody on YouTube. Let me know if you would like that a little bit quieter. I might turn it down just a little bit more. So we have the book on the screen. Very exciting. I'm going to move this maybe just a little bit. Oh. And now we don't have a camera. Look how that works. Give me 1 second, everybody. I apologize about that. Definitely been having some issues with this webcam. Hopefully this fixes it. Sorry, everybody. I did not expect my webcam to go out by moving it. But there we go. It should be back on screen now. Hopefully that pops up. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in. This is chapter 11. Thank you, everybody who's tuning in on TikTok. Had some interesting energy earlier on TikTok. I think it is fitting to be doing what we're doing today. Feels like a very fitting energy for just kind of everything that's going on. There's a lot of intensity, so hopefully my stream's doing okay. I am kind of confused as it's telling me I don't have the best connection, but hopefully my stream's good. I'm just going to continue, and hopefully my stream is doing okay on YouTube. I apologize if it's laggy. I can't really see, but just let me know in the comments if I need to change anything, and thank you so much for being here. To anybody who's new to this series, we have kind of been keeping this tradition, so I'm going to keep it going for the rest of today, as today is the rest of the chapters, and then we're going to move into the appendix. But as per tradition for every chapter, we read the dedication of the book for anybody who's here, just to catch them up to speed as to what this message of 528 is and why it is so important in this time. So I will dive right into that. The book of wow, now we're going to dive into it. The book of 528, Prosperity Key of Love, may be the most important book in history following the Holy Bible and Aristotle's physics that birthed modern religions and science. The divided worlds of science and religion shall merge from this knowledge of 528, the musical mathematical frequency of spiritual energy fundamental to space and time. 528 unites every field, illuminating love for the enlightenment of humankind. 528, the universal love constant, manifests miracles from love and makes love miraculous. 528 is responsible for the constant flow of love that heals and sustains people spiritually. The heart of this clear channel of music, 528 hertz on the universal dial, broadcasts you into existence every nano instant. These revelations compel civilization to build a new foundation in celebration of love that is sourcing, unifying, and guiding all creation. May this 528, key of the House of David, facilitate civilization's salvation through spiritual evolution. I'm seeing on YouTube that I'm frozen, so I'm hoping I'm not frozen for the live stream. Let me know on YouTube if that is what's going on. I don't know if that's maybe just my feed. I'm hoping that it's just my feed. But thank you all so much for being here. Thank you everybody for tuning in. kind of nervous that my feed is frozen on YouTube. It says I have a good connection, but can anybody on YouTube just verify that you can still hear me and see me? That would be great to know. That would be very great to know. I think it's this next chapter here. We went right to it. Wait, we did this yesterday. Is there any chance that anybody on TikTok can go onto YouTube and just let me know if you can see me and still hear me? My feed is showing that it is lagging or that it's not even loading. So I hope that is just my stream client, not the actual stream itself. Thank you, Unicorn. I appreciate you guys. I'm glad you can still hear me here. I'm glad my phone isn't overheating. I'm appreciative of you, Unicorn. If you go, the username is spelled just the exact same way. I apologize to anybody that is on YouTube that if this isn't freezing, we just want to make sure so that we can start the book in the right way. So hopefully we're good. I'm waiting for Unicorn to come back. It's working. Okay, thank you so much. I apologize to anybody for that delay. I'm just going to not look at YouTube. At least the thing, maybe if I like refresh this, maybe it'll update. There's always some technical difficulties. At least it's not like yesterday, me spilling tea and almost destroying my computer. Okay, it is good. All right, thank you. Thank you so much for checking, Unicorn. I'm super appreciative. Thank you, Kate, as well, or Katie. Thank you both so much. Thank you to everybody who's here live. We are going to jump in to chapter 11, which is 528 Physics and Consciousness. It's a great day to talk about it. All right, here we go. 528 vibrates at the heart of consciousness. Previous chapters covered the importance of 528 in physics, the universal constants, and measurements of space-time. The evidence reviewed shows Love 528 is basic to creation and creationism. Consciousness is defined as the state or condition of being conscious, and a sense of one's personal or collective identity, including the attitudes, beliefs, and sensitivities held by or considered characteristic of an individual or group. For example, love of freedom runs deep in the national consciousness. So Love 528's vibration is central to your personal and social identity, increasing awareness and freedom to choose wisely your attitudes, beliefs, and sensitivities. In essence, Love 528 is where you come from. Excuse me. I'll read that again because it sounds like I should. In essence, Love 528 is where you come from and where you are going or evolving, given what this book teaches about hydrocreationism based on musical mathematics and water science. Chapter 1 introduced you to cymatics, the impact of sound on moving and materializing matter. This involves the physics of creationism. This understanding raises consciousness that creation happens universally, vibrationally, with the essence of everything being similarly inspired by Love 528. Excuse me again. Fundamental to advancing consciousness is the consideration of original sin in the context of resonance, harmonics, and the physics of love and lawfulness expressed throughout creation. This tea is making me burp so much, I apologize. In this vein, you might consider ignorance or lacking consciousness based on physics akin to sin, or being out of touch with how the universe operates lawfully, administered mathematically with homeostasis or balance, reflecting harmony. This next passage is phase locking to God. The most exciting aspect of 528 impacting collective consciousness and civilization through the revelations and physics advanced herein is the prospect of emerging from mass ignorance that includes the illusion of separation and dissonance with ourselves and beyond. Let me just fix this a little bit. Sorry, everybody on TikTok. I know you're looking at like half of my face. I'm going to restart that because this is an important passage. The most exciting aspect of 528 impacting collective consciousness and civilization through the revelations and physics advanced herein, is the prospect of emerging from mass ignorance that includes the illusion of separation and dissonance within ourselves and beyond, into community and harmony with each other as divine children. This is certainly a high probability for humanity, given the opportunity to phase lock or entrain in coherence with nature and the standing gravitational wave advanced by Muller. The closer you vibe to Love 528, the greater the benefit you can expect. The physics of this principle was advanced by Lisa Zhu. Even if the frequencies are not in perfect but close whole number ratios to each other, benefits are achieved. This is why the digitally transposed music from A440 Hz standard tuning to 528 Hz is close enough to live 528 Hz, or the A440 Hz scale, coherence to be less stressful and more beneficial. Bowditch reported, if the difference in frequencies of natural scaling by whole number ratios is insignificant, the phenomenon that arises is that the designs keep changing their appearance. This knowledge is very important for understanding many things, from the forgiving energy of God to the reason 528 Hz live performances has the most healing and spiritually uplifting, are the most spiritually healing and uplifting. Much like 528 Hz resonates a DNA strand back to normalcy via the forces of phase locking to the SGW, creationistic cymatics, or hydrosonics, asserts the mechanism by which energy vibrates and resonates your physical body back into balance. In essence, 528 Hz is the frequency of God's heartbeat, or the central vibration of the Holy Spirit. This actually vibrates your DNA, cells, and tissues back to normalcy, especially during sleep, rest, prayer, and meditation. This concept of phase locking your body into the good vibrations of nature for healing correctly assumes dis-ease is a phase you are going through and don't wish to lock into. This is encouragement for you to have faith in natural healing and vibrating in harmony or in sync with the heartbeat of God. In the Christian sense, your body naturally seeks the kingdom of heaven, wherein prosperity in all ways is given to you, because there is nothing missing or broken in this musical matrix. Your body or spirit is naturally recharged here. Your physical material shifts and changes according to vibrations in training to the central nodes, whole notes of the universe. The sound waves impacting you from the kingdom of heaven, this book evidences, are fundamentally the solfeggio tones. This is more reason to live righteously and thereby attune to the kingdom's music. Again, biosonic vibrations sourcing from the master matrix recreates everything from your unique eye color to the shape of your toes and every part of your body, every nano instant of your life. Just as Hans Jenny, the Swiss physician and cymatics researcher, published in The Structure and Dynamics of Waves and Vibrations, and Chladni demonstrated, shapes and patterns of various materials vibrated into motion went from perfectly ordered and stationary to chaotic when whole note ratios were altered and phase locking with God's mathematical matrix stopped. Various materials used in experiments like water, sand, iron filings, spores, and viscous substances repeated these results. Similarly, your well-ordered body and physical health becomes diseased with too little core creative and sustaining frequencies. Jenny convincingly demonstrated that all natural phenomena were ultimately dependent on, if not entirely determined by, the frequencies of creative vibration. He argued that recovery from disease states could be aided or hindered musically. All the above is consistent with biophysics and string theory, as explained in Chapter 9. Thank you all so much for being here. To whoever asked which book we're reading, thank you, Unicorn, for answering. We are reading the book of 528. This is the next passage, Voice Training and 528. As mentioned in Chapter 1 and still awaits reconfirmation, Jenny noted that vowels of Hebrew and Sanskrit vibrated sand into shapes that resembled their written symbols. In any case, there seems to be something very special about vowels, energetically or spiritually. One related discovery involving 528 is the use of vowels by voice trainers. Singing coaches commonly assign students harmonizing exercises using the vowels, but when sung in sequence repeatedly, as circularly singing A-E-I-O-U, 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 the sound produced is one of the most commonly accepted names of God, Yahweh, It's A-E-I-O-U, A-E-I-O-U. If you say that a lot of times, that the U becomes the... I'm not going to do it a lot, but say it like 5 or 6 times fast if you want to try that. This strongly suggests divine human communion, or harmony, is readily manifested vocally. This is similarly considered with prayer. Considering the math fundamental to alphanumerics of A-E-I-O-U, that is, A equals 1, 5 equals 5, E equals 5, I equals 9, O equals 15, or 6, and U equals 21, or 3. These all sum to a 6, reflecting the miracle 6, or 528. Given this knowledge, a recommended exercise is to vocally harmonize with a 528 tuning fork, or music played in 528 hertz that you can download from i528tunes.com. Sing the A-E-I-O-U, harmonizing with recording artists, either vocals or instrumentals, or doing the hum that we did previously here. When you exercise your voice using vowels, singing vowels in harmony with instruments tuned to 528, do so with the heartfelt, loving intention to heal yourself of any disease, including disruptive emotional patterns. You can also pray for others using this exercise. The next passage is expanding consciousness through your voice. Research curiously suggests that learning to speak and or sing in Hebrew may offer unique spiritual blessings. The ancient Hebrew Torah, the law, was always sung, every word of it, entirely without written vowels. But oddly, the vowels were included in the recitations, even though they were not included in the writing. The vowels were all sung from memory, as though the name of God could not be written, but recalled instinctively. How interesting. So, theoretically, your singing of vowels in songs relays a hidden blessing that is likely associated with developing yourself to become a more loving, spiritual, and conscious being. Consciousness is defined as the state or condition of being conscious, or a sense of one's personal or collective identity, including the attitudes, beliefs, and sensitivities held by or considered characteristic of an individual or group. Love of freedom runs deep in the national consciousness, the Free Dictionary online states. So higher consciousness implies an expanded sense of self in relation to others or the collective group, a greater intimacy of relatedness to your community, engaging greater love and spirituality. In other words, increasing your sense of community, connection to others, or spirituality implies greater mastery over your conditioned ego. This includes your egoic sense of separation from others and the universe at large, to the point where inner peace is enjoyed consistently. This state of well-being is best achieved, gurus and scholars acclaim, through practices used to expand human consciousness and spirituality, including meditation, prayer, and chanting. A goal in these practices is to merge with the inner stillness, to experience moment-to-moment bliss beyond stress, troubled thoughts, turbulent feelings, negative attitudes, and harsh judgments. All paths to acquiring higher consciousness are paved with love and forgiveness, as Jesus modeled. Moreover, assuming you were created and sustained by Yahweh's voice and created in the image of God, as already mentioned, your creative instruments, your lips, are most powerful, especially when used with faith and heartfelt loving intention. The Love 528 in your heart links your heart to God's heart and empowers your voice to be most registered, phase-locked to love, and blessed. This regards Jesus' teachings that you are judged by every word that comes from your mouth that either reflects the love in your heart or the evil that dwells therein. That's from Matthew 12, 36, 37, and 15, 8, and 9. The administration of divine judgment must, therefore, rely on frequencies of good versus evil, harmony versus dissonance, using Love 528 as a key measure. In other words, the energetic or spiritual dynamics of the words you expressed are measured against the universal love constant, Love 528 hertz, in rendering karma according to the science and understandings advanced in this book. Therefore, rediscovering your pure, unadulterated, or unashamed voice, expressing yourself optimally in Love 528 is recommended. Need some water. Thank you to everybody that's here. Here are some tips for voice training. Most people are embarrassed to sing, especially in front of others. But imagine a world wherein people communicate by singing a common language, one that is spiritually blessed for divine communion as well as clear messaging. The information in the Book of 528, Prosperity Key of Love, strongly encourages futurists to advance this option. Vocal coach Yvonne DeBandy advised singing students and those seeking to rediscover their voices to consider the A to Z rules for developing a great voice. Her tips are posted on love528.com. Several keys to developing your good natural voice involve airflow that creates and carries your vocal tone. It must be kept flowing evenly through your vocal cords to sing well. Students are advised to sing to God with love for the best results, especially since the air vibrating the vocal cords is resonating primordially in love 528 Hz. The next passage. Co-creating your reality. Recall mathematician Marco Rodin's work that has been mentioned several times in this book, complementing the space-time physics of Muller and math of Scholl. Consideration must be given to evolving consciousness, unfolding due to the dynamics administered by the same forces responsible for creating and controlling the scaled universe. The perfect circle of sound, composed of what Rodin independently determined was 3 family number groups, can be appreciated by studying his matrix viewed in Figure 27. Rodin realized all matter derived from math and energy, from galaxies to blood cells, displays this math, God's signature, at a most fundamental level. The implications of these discoveries, like the universe, are limitless. Vastly beneficial creative potential rests in the application of this knowledge to solve humanity's greatest problems. The famous American poet, critic, and short storyteller Edgar Allan Poe wrote, "To be thoroughly conversant with a man's heart is to take our final lesson in the iron-clasped volume of despair. It may well be doubted whether human ingenuity can construct an enigma which human ingenuity may not, by proper application, resolve. Man's real life is happy, chiefly because he is never expecting that it soon will be so." The universe is constantly spinning and torquing with energy that can be used positively or negatively. Musical math is constantly flowing, awaiting your creativity. Tapping the flow of this free energy was proven possible by Nikola Tesla, whose technology was secreted by the Illuminati to monopolize the energy industry. Now humanity, if not biology in general, risks extinction due to the low level of consciousness controlling research and developments in this field. The frontiers of human consciousness are being controlled likewise. After corroborating the truths in this book, many great minds from the fields of physics, biophysics, chemistry, mathematicians, and computer science will be inspired to resolve enigmas in their fields. These advances in understanding 528 also help explain the physics and universal energy dynamics of creative consciousness. For instance, if you've ever wondered how certain synchronistic miraculous manifestations and prayed for outcomes suddenly occur for you, this knowledge provides a clue. With your genetic code phase locked into the energy of the master matrix and your neurology empowered by this music, your life began. Throughout life, your free will, coupled with your divine destiny, supported by angelic protection and spiritual direction, enabled your creative self-expression. This is true for the vast majority of people, especially those who remained open to the power of faith in divine influence. Energetic transmissions from your heart-mind, as well as your lips from words, chants, and prayers, travel throughout the cosmos, administered through the musical mathematical matrix. In this master matrix, these energized messages acquire more power through torque, spin, and velocity, according to the model developed by Harriman and Rauscher. This best explains the wise sayings, "What goes around comes around. Resistance causes persistence. Pay it forward, and as you sow, so you shall reap." These truths are all explained by this spiritual dynamic, featuring the cosmic matrix that physicists prove is circulating or revolving, as well as spinning lawfully according to math. Since 528 and 639 is the math at the heart of the original solfeggio, and 528 love is at the heart of the electromagnetic spectrum that is fundamentally central to visible light, any veering off center, that is sinning, away from the miracle family, which is 528 and 639, violates the heart of the law. The dynamic of attracting negative outcomes in your life derives from the apocalyptic dynamic of your survival instinct. This typically involves faithlessness and reflects a low level of consciousness ascribed to the reptilian brain. Apocalypse means unveiling or revealing. Reveal the horror, pain, fear, loss, or traumatic history in a victim's consciousness, and you determine the source of attracting such negativity repeatedly, unconsciously. Bringing your unconscious creativity to the forefront of awareness demands that you take responsibility for such sin, that is, the dissonant energy you generate unconsciously and output repeatedly to create your troubled reality. Since we know that opposites attract, positives attracts negative in the world of electromagnetism, there must be some undetermined mechanism operating in a service of justice involving the master matrix that attracts life's lessons learned the hard way through pain and loss. Theoretically, this involves the polarized double toroid structure of the universe explained by Harriman and Rauscher, wherein the polarity of thoughts, deeds, and intentions shift as the energy moves through the heart of the universe from one side of the double toroid to its opposite. Then, like magnets, these polarized energies attract their opposite charge or repel realities similarly charged. In this way, your core attitudes cut to the core of the universe, affecting your creative and attractive capacities. You experience no more or no less than your seeds in words, thoughts, intentions, and deeds command. You either attract or repel experiences depending on what you transmit, positively or negatively. Theoretically, then, bad karma, or judgment, must be generated this way, electromagnetically, attracting into your life what you hate and fear most. This seems to be the main problem underlying psychosocial stress, political disempowerment, and widespread deprivation in this world. We the people, in other words, deprive ourselves from joining hands to co-create a better and healthier world, demanding from ourselves, each other, and our political leaders righteousness within the matrix governing universal law and order. We are all, therefore, outlaws who God always forgives because of our personal and collective ignorance and the manner in which justice is administered automatically, musically, and mathematically. This best explains karmic laws or divine judgment and the administration of universal balance or harmony. This is needed knowledge for the enlightenment to ease your suffering and make life a lot lighter. This also explains why certain physicists who claim the universe is expanding chaotically through entropy are dead wrong. The universe maintains justice or homeostatic balance. To reiterate, these revelations in musical math, physics, and consciousness also explain how you are judged by every word that comes from your mouth, as Jesus decreed in Matthew 12:36. I tell you this, on the day of judgment, people will have to give account for every careless word they have spoken, for by your own words you will be acquitted, and by your own words you will be condemned. Given the aforementioned evidence and discussions, it is most probable that each cell resonates with a genetic blueprint of the universe, as above, so below, and therefore operates with divine or cosmic intelligence. Individually and as groups, cells can be relied upon to respond intelligently to mathematical input or harmonic frequencies. That is, electromagnetic and bioacoustic input, creative stimuli, including your thoughts and visualizations, can be used to manifest healthier realities. Conclusion. The aforementioned best explains the physics of consciousness, creative or destructive, operating in your life and body. Your mind-body-spirit connection potentiates even psychosomatic reactions, best explained by the metaphysics of the placebo effect, as well as the opposite, the nocebo effect. Then placed under the trance of medical deities, patients generally forget faith. They become stressed, frightened, and induced into additional disease by the strong mental suggestions from their doctors. This is how the vast majority of diseases and deaths are generated biospiritually or psychosomatically. Disease labels and descriptions, such as terminal illness, actually become cofactors or risk factors, in increasing morbidity and mortality. Alternatively, This book delivers the truth that shall set us free. This intelligence explains the bioenergetics of life and death, the fact that all diseases might be more consciously considered musical maladies. Given this information, health professionals should be ethically directed to inform patients of the overriding influence of musical mathematics of love 528 Hz frequency dynamics on health and disease physics. Obviously, these considerations about biophysics and consciousness, emerging from revelations about musical mathematics, hold profound importance in healthcare. Beyond this, there is a high probability all of the world's most urgent problems shall be solved by spreading this intelligence. And that is chapter 11, 528 Physics and Consciousness. So it is 1:33 right now. We have one more chapter left in the book of in the book of 528 before we get into the appendix. That is chapter 12, 528 Genetics and Biocide. And this is going to be a longer chapter. This stream is only about 30 minutes. This next one's probably going to be over an hour. It's a little bit longer of a chapter, but we are going to start that in about 10 minutes. I'm going to take a tiny little break, and we will be back here. I'll quickly make the YouTube live for those of you on YouTube. Thank you again for being here if you're on YouTube live, or if you're here in the future. Thank you so much. I'll make that live available for you right as I end this. I'll post that right up, so it'll be on my channel. If you want to just tune in there and hang out, I'll have it up on my screen as well. And for TikTok, I'm going to quickly, just quickly probably pop off, or maybe leave my phone on and run to the bathroom really quick. But YouTube, thank you all so much for being here, and I will see you in 10 minutes. Okay, peace. All right, TikTok. So